Hi. Hello. Welcome back. Welcome back to Benpod. Episode 2. Yes, we are still doing this. Yes. Welcome back to Benpod. I'm happy to be back. And yes, okay, elephant in the room. I did get a haircut. Thank you for noticing. I have Nellie here with me while I record today, and she's sort of confused as to what I am talking about and who I am talking to. Nellie, do you want to come say hi? Come here. Hi, baby. Come say hi. You want to say hi? Thank you for sharing what you have to say, my baby. All right, everyone, give it up for Nellie. Give it up for Nellie. How am I doing today? Thank you for asking. It's been a really good day. It is Easter today. We celebrated Easter with my family. Well, my family doesn't really celebrate Easter, like the like religious Easter. It was just kind of nice to be around each other and have pasta and enjoy the beautiful weather. So that was nice. Any other life updates before we dig in? I've been really obsessed with this book series the past couple of weeks. It is called The Maid by Nita Prose. Nita Prose. Book 1 is The Maid, book 2 is The Mystery Guest, and book 3 I think just came out like last week. It's called The Maid's Secret. They're basically just little self-contained, cozy murder mysteries set at this fancy hotel. And our protagonist, Molly, is a maid at this hotel, and she discovers a body. And she starts to unravel the mystery and everything like that. And she's a very, very interesting and intriguing protagonist. And it's very interesting to sort of follow her perspective as she puts together the pieces to this mystery. It's very, very cool. So that's been nice. I have binge read those. And I am silly and very picky and particular about the book copies that I buy. I like nice prints. I like nice books. And The Maid's Secret, this third book, the yellow one, is very new. And when books are new, they don't always print paperbacks right away. However, sometimes they do print paperbacks, but only the large print version. So I am so stubborn that instead of buying a hardcover of the new book, I bought the large print version, which was indeed $32, but it was worth it. I am really enjoying my books. Other than that, it's been nice to spend time with friends. We are planning an upcoming Chicago trip together. We are spending a weekend in Chicago together soon, I think next weekend, for a Charlie XCX concert. We're doing other fun things like an architecture boat tour, some art museums, some brunches. So I'm very excited for that. But anyway, hi, I am excited to continue Benpod here. Thank you for being here. So first up on actual Benpod topics and theme park news and discussion, I would like to talk about my most anticipated new rides and roller coasters opening or planned to be opening this year in 2025. This will basically be an internet-friendly list. Shout out Jenny Nicholson, I love you so much. But not ranked in any particular order of like most anticipated to least anticipated. This is just a list of the exciting stuff that is coming this year. I'm just excited for all of these. All right, let's get into it. First on the list, is just all of Epic Universe. All of Universal Epic Universe. It's kind of insane that we are seeing the first major A+ list theme park in like 25 years or so with a budget of just gajillions of dollars be opened this year. I have this feeling of excitement mostly because I've seen Universal theme parks improve so much over the years, and they really do have so much experience with state-of-the-art theme parks and attractions and operations under their belt. And so seeing a massive new theme park be opened with a crazy budget built from the ground up and having this modern standard of planning and execution from the start is truly something unique and exciting. And this really does not happen often at all. Universal had the opportunity to lay down a foundation of an amazing theme park and then plan for expansion later. And it seems like it's going great. Starting out with a thematically cohesive, hub and spoke layout with expansion plots planned for later in the park's development is so genius. It shows the planning. There's so much planning that went into this. So you enter into Celestial Park, which will be your entrance and main hub area of the park. And from here, you venture into different portals to all the other themed areas, which include Dark Universe, an area themed to the Universal Classic monsters. We also have How to Train Your Dragon, Isle of Berk, based on the movies, love those. Super Nintendo World, based on Super Mario, Yoshi, Donkey Kong, Mario Kart, etc. And the Wizarding World of Harry Potter, Ministry of Magic. Previews and media days have already started for Epic Universe, and I am trying to avoid spoilers best I can, but we are fully planning on visiting later this year, me and Daniel. Opening year, I definitely want to give Universal a few months or so to work out any opening issues and let them get the operations of all of their attractions and food establishments under control. But I definitely want to visit opening year for sure, but I definitely want to let them get it together a little bit just to make sure that my first visit there was as good as it possibly can be. And as far as exciting rides and attractions within Epic Universe, I mean, obviously, Stardust Racers, as a roller coaster lover, is very, very exciting. You may already know from my vlogs, but I absolutely love Mach Rides. They are the manufacturer of these two dueling roller coasters, Stardust Racers, and many other world-class roller coasters built within the last few years. First off, I love the return of high thrill dueling roller coasters to Universal Orlando after the removal of Dueling Dragons, a pair of dueling B&M inverted roller coasters. And as far as the layout of Stardust Racers goes, this is just an endless barrage of very strong ejector airtime with very comfortable Mach Rides trains with lap bars, which is basically just heaven for me. I love that. There's really cool dueling layout interactions as well, particularly the Celestial Spin element where the trains take turns sort of rolling over each other, which is awesome. It looks very show-stopping for sure. Most anticipated Epic Universe dark rides, I mean, come on. Monsters Unchained and Harry Potter Battle at the Ministry. Monsters Unchained I don't know much about because I have been avoiding spoilers, but I know what has been made public, which is that this is a highly advanced dark ride, and the Dark Universe area of the park, which is themed to Universal's classic monsters, such as Frankenstein, Dracula, Wolfman, the Invisible Man, Creature of the Black Lagoon, like that type of stuff. Monsters Unchained uses an updated ride vehicle similar to Harry Potter and the Forbidden Journey, which is a classic Universal ride at this point. And Monsters Unchained uses this ride vehicle to tell the story of experiments with trying to control these Universal monsters going wrong and then them trying to break free. Monsters Unchained. I think focusing on classic monsters is such a genius move. And it's really, really cool for them to choose that for a land themed to an IP. I think that's really, really cool. I hope that this ride is scary, well-themed, thrilling. I hope there's a lot of practical effects and animatronics. I really, really hope so. And I can't wait to ride. I can't wait to see how they update this ride model. It's so cool. And the same goes for Harry Potter and the Battle at the Ministry. Epic Universe has a new Harry Potter themed land, which is a Universal theme park staple at this point. But this one is unique and new. It's themed to like 1920s Paris from the Fantastic Beasts movies, which it sounds like people love it, even though the movies weren't all that beloved. So that's great. This land must be beautifully designed. And there will also be an area for the Ministry of Magic that we know from the Harry Potter movies, the British one, and another highly advanced dark ride. Now, rumor has it that Battle at the Ministry is Universal's attempt at a massive scale, fully immersive dark ride experience to rival that of Rise of the Resistance at the Disney parks, which is widely regarded as one of the most immersive dark rides with the most impressive scale probably ever. So hearing that Universal wants to try and compete with that is very exciting. I want as many of those type of dark rides as I can get, okay? I really hope they hit their target here because I absolutely can't wait to see their new and modern take on a Harry Potter dark ride. And the Ministry of Magic in the movies is like so spooky. The design is so cool, and they move around with those like Willy Wonka type elevators that go in every direction. And the pink lady who plays the villain headmaster in Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix. What is her name? Dolores Umbridge. Her villain performance is so good, and I can't wait to see what role she plays in this ride. Okay, moving on from Epic Universe, but just know that I am excited for the whole park. Next up on the list is a highly anticipated new roller coaster. A first of its kind coaster model for North America, one of the only tilt coasters ever built, coming to one of my home parks this year. It is Siren's Curse at Cedar Point. Like I said, this is a tilt coaster, a coaster model by Dutch manufacturer Vekoma. And this has been a quite notorious coaster model for quite a long time because of the very eye-catching and show-stopping mechanic of the track at the top of the lift hill, safely stopping the train, detaching from the lift hill, tilting the track and the train downwards to connect to the drop, and then releasing the train from there into the coaster layout. It looks wild, and I think it's bound to be a showstopper. Gravity Max was the first tilt coaster ever built in Taiwan in 2002, and Siren's Curse will be the first major Vekoma tilt coaster to open since then, I believe. So another new generation Vekoma tilt coaster is ironically being built in the United States at the same time as Siren's Curse, called Circuit Breaker. Circuit Breaker is being built at a brand new theme park in Texas called Coda Land, but the park is not expected to be open until later, I think later this year. This is a park at like a Formula One racing center, and I think they want it open for a very specific series of races, but I don't quote me on that. I think it's later this year and they want it to be open by then. But honestly, I'm listing Siren's Curse above Circuit Breaker because Siren's Curse's layout looks a lot more exciting to me. It looks genuinely fantastic. I really hope that Siren's Curse runs as fastly paced and intense as the POV teasers make it out to be. It looks like it absolutely rips through the layout at a very, very fast pace, and I really, really hope it runs like that. And Vekoma makes super high quality ride hardware, so this is bound to be a very butter smooth ride, I think. Now, does Cedar Point need Siren's Curse in its roller coaster lineup? Absolutely not. Not at all. But the roller coaster lineup is absolutely stacked after this edition. There is genuinely a crazy list of coasters at that park. Now, along those lines, should I count Top Thrill 2 as a new for 2025 opening? Probably not. It did open last year in 2024, but I think only for 4 full days of operation before closing for the full season to fix the issues. Luckily, Daniel and I did ride it 3 or 4 times, so I don't think I can count it as a new for 2025 opening, but they do seem more confident in a more reliable opening for Top Thrill 2 this season, and I do think that the major issues with their newest coaster opening last year might have been the reason that they pushed for adding the tilt coaster to Cedar Point instead of maybe another park in the chain that could have benefited more from adding Siren's Curse to their coaster lineup. But regardless of all that, Siren's Curse looks incredible, and I'm very excited. Next on the list, and I can't believe I'm saying this, girl, it's Canada's Wonderland. Yep, Alpine Fury. Canada's Wonderland is getting a new coaster called Alpine Fury, and it is single-handedly finally making me want to visit Canada's Wonderland this year. I'm sure that the park is nice, and there really is a million rides at that park, but none of them have really sparked my interest and spoke out to me as much as this new coaster Alpine Fury looks to, which is literally exactly what new attractions are supposed to do. They're supposed to attract new visitors, me, along with returning visitors. Alpine Fury is a double-launched roller coaster by American manufacturer Premier Rides, which will launch you up and out of the inside of their Wonder Mountain at 71 miles per hour and into a layout with 9 inversions, which is the most inversions on a launch coaster in the world. There's a loose fire and ice theme to the coaster, and I love the look of the icy white track with the light blue supports. That's very nice. Now, Premier Rides has had notoriously uncomfortably designed trains, in my opinion. Pretty much for their entire time in the industry, they have been behind in that department. And Alpenfury is having slightly upgraded versions of their new trains, and they do look like they're an improvement. They look a little roomier. And this will be my first time in Canada, so hopefully that's fun. Daniel actually has Canadian citizenship. Little fun fact for you. Exotic, I know. Maybe we should move there. We are hoping to stop on the way to Canada's Wonderland at Waldemere. Daniel has never been to Waldemere, and he's sick of me bragging about how good their wooden coaster Ravine Flyer 2 is, even though it broke my grandma's rib. That is a whole other story. If you'd like to hear that, leave a comment. And we might stop at like Six Flags Darien Lake on the way too, just to get the roller coasters done there and out of the way. Okay, that's not the most exciting thing ever, but the point is Canada should be a very fun trip, and we have friends coming, and it's almost entirely inspired by Alpenfury opening this year. So that's really cool. Next on the list, I suppose I can't talk about big 2025 openings without mentioning Six Flags Qiddiya, a huge brand new amusement park opening in Saudi Arabia that will be operated by Six Flags. I don't think owned by Six Flags, but operated by Six Flags. I think the park is owned by like the tourism board of Qiddiya City, and they have hired Six Flags to operate the park. I'm not quite sure of the setup there, but Six Flags is operating the park. Now, this is on the list particularly because they have constructed and plan to open the world's tallest, fastest, and longest roller coaster ever built, Falcon's Flight, manufactured by my favorite roller coaster manufacturer, Intamin. Let's see here. Track length, 13,943 feet. Drop, 519 feet. Speed, 155 miles per hour. Ben and Daniel, 0. I don't think we will be able to visit and ride Falcon's Flight for the foreseeable future, but I have to include Falcon's Flight on the list of most anticipated 2025 openings because this is absolutely a huge roller coaster accomplishment for the industry, and I'm going to be closely following news about it. This is breaking new milestones that I genuinely was starting to wonder if any park was ever going to pay to be engineered into reality again. I believe the park is being government funded, and clearly they got money. I'm very eager to see if a coaster this ambitious is going to be reliable. If I had to predict, I think Falcon's Flight will be very maintenance intensive and will probably have some issues that they will have to get figured out for the long term once it starts running. I'm not an engineer. I just know that rides this massive with numbers this high have historically been risky when it comes to reliability. And we have never seen stats like this built in the modern day, so we will just have to wait and see how it goes. Now, last on the list, one of the only other notable dark rides opening this year, I think, other than the ones at Epic Universe, it's Test Track 3.0 at Epcot, Walt Disney World. I completely forgot that this was opening this year, but I am eager to see what is changing in the third version of Test Track, what's been improved, and if they plan to impress the absolute haters of Test Track 2.0. Pretty much no one ever talks about Test Track 2.0 without complaining about how much better the original Test Track was. But I personally never rode the OG, just Test Track 2.0, and I liked it. My last visit to Epcot, I was genuinely bummed without Test Track being open while they worked on it. So regardless of the changes they're making, I'm just excited to have it back open and have Test Track on the lineup of rides at Epcot, a park that's already kind of sore for rides. But I am excited to see what they have up their sleeve with the changes. Will they be drastic? Or just an improvement on Test Track 2.0? Or will they be trying to appeal to the lovers of the original ride? I guess we'll just have to wait and see. I wonder if they'll still have the car salesman at Test Track. I always wonder how many people have bought like honest to God cars from Disney World. I would love to see that statistic. Like, who is buying cars from Epcot? I think that just about wraps up my most anticipated new rides of 2025. Let me know in the comments if I missed any notable ones, or let me know what you're most excited about this year. But if I left it out, I probably do know about it and I just might not care that much about it. Comments from my last Benpod. I received a comment on the last Benpod from purple_mimosa that says, possible future Q&A question. Have you guys ever thought about enlisting into the Amazing Race? Smiling face emoji. Last season, a gay couple won. Okay, first of all, huge congrats to the gay couple that allegedly won the Amazing Race. Love to see it. And to answer your question, I would probably be a total nightmare on the Amazing Race. But I do think Daniel would literally be amazing at it. I would be that one half of the couple that is always anxious and flustered about everything, and Daniel would calm me down like he always does because he's so good at traveling like effortlessly. He's just so good at planning and going about our schedules and itineraries and holding it together. He's just so good at it, and I'm so thankful for that. I do think I would be pretty good at the challenges they have to do at each stop. I genuinely watch them struggle with the challenges sometimes, and they're things that I'd be pretty good at. Daniel, too. I think we're smart, multi-talented people. He has skills that pick up for where I lack, and vice versa. I have skills that pick up where he lacks. So we'd trade off nicely. I think that makes a good team. I do know that Daniel used to watch TAM, The Amazing Race, but he stopped watching because he found it less interesting. Like, I guess they stopped including the parts where they have to, like, book their own chartered flights as part of the challenge of the show, like the traveling part, and he finds it less entertaining when they cut that out. And I think I agree. Daniel has since become super obsessed with a show called Jet Lag the Game. I think it's called Jet Lag the Game. They're here on YouTube, and I think they have more premium stuff on a platform called Nebula. It's like a really fun travel challenge show. It's right up his alley of like traveling skill being the main focus of the show. And they play like massive scale hide and seek within like a whole country among other huge challenges. It's very wild and it's remarkably well planned. I'm really impressed with the planning and production of Jet Lag. I really should watch it more. Daniel started and he just absolutely blazed through every episode ever, and I had no chance of catching up. But he said they're going to do hide and seek in New York City soon, and that sounds really fun. I would like to watch that. But yeah, I think Amazing Race fans should get into Jet Lag. It's really cool. Purple_mimosa. Get into Jet Lag. All right, well, I think that just about wraps things up. Thanks for coming. See you next time. Bye-bye.